Do you ever wish you could just peek over the shoulder of an expert crypto trader and hit buy at the exact same second as they do? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how. I'm Brett at CryptoGX, and in this video, we'll track Solana whales holding lots and lots of crypto with a couple different tools. We'll pick the winning users with very easy filters, check their profit charts, and then copy trade them. We're going to use specific trading bot, which is basically a software that does all the trades for you. I'll walk you through things like trade size, slippage, risk stops, and when to not use a bot. And then we'll end with a quick checklist so you can copy whales very safely. So let's start off by taking a look at the platform where we can actually find these whales and determine which wallets are going to be the best ones to copy. This platform is called GMGN.ai. This is what it looks like right here when you open the first page. It's got a little preview here. We'll just skip through this since we already know what we're doing. We're going to see a bunch of different things here, but we're going to look at the top right and click login. Now you can log in with a couple different things, Telegram or Phantom. I'm going to go ahead and use my Phantom wallet. When you want to connect with a Phantom wallet, it's going to pull up this dialog box and ask you to connect. Make sure to only do these kinds of signatures when you're on a site that you actually trust. So make sure to not click any links, type in the actual name of the website on your own. So GMGN.ai. So we'll click connect here and then it will add my wallet. I'll sign again to actually sign in. And there we go. Now I'm connected. Once you're in, every copy trade feature is on the Solana chain. So make sure that you're going to be using something like a Phantom wallet or Solana in general, and you won't have to tweak any settings. So to start off, let's look at these tabs on the top. We've got new pair, trending, copy trade, SnipeX, monitor, follow, and holding. These are all the different sections of the website. New pair is going to be new pairs of coins. Basically, it would be the names of meme coins that are new at the time. We've got trending. That's going to be trending coins at the time. So you can track specific coins as well as these whale wallets. So if you want to just look into specific coins, you can do that as well. Where we want to go is to copy trade. So each of these wallets has some little tags next to them. And as you can see, this one is fresh wallet. We've got a bunch of tabs right here. These tabs are the different little icons that will pop up. We've got pump SM, smart money, KVol over VC, fresh wallet, and sniper. These are just different filters for the wallets that mark different aspects about them. Fresh wallet is very obvious, right? It's a new wallet. Sniper is somebody that is typically sniping coins that are being minted and have a little pump and then they sell out really quickly. The KOL/VC are key opinion leaders or venture capitalists. These are basically people with some sort of following online. As you can see right here, it has their names. It has a little check marks next to them. The smart money tab is based on a number of factors that GMGN basically determines themselves to be smart money traders. Now, pump SM is not defined on the website, but it seems to me like it's smart money wallets that have encountered big pumps in the coins that they're holding. Now, we'll get into these features in a second, but I want you to understand the platform a little bit first. When you are analyzing any of these wallets, if you want to learn a little bit more about their performance, you can just click on each one and then it will open up a list of their recent transactions, their profit and loss, and a lot more analytics about that particular wallet. You can see the little tickers they have. This guy's on Pump SM and Smart DGen. Now, you don't want to just pick any random one, but for example, if we were to look back at this one and we said, okay, we want to copy trade this guy and we want to follow what they're doing. First, I would go to the top right and click follow, and I would just probably put it in my default group. You can make different groups. What will happen here is on this bottom little section, when you click following, there will be little alerts for that particular wallet that you're following. If you keep that up, every time they make a trade, it will pull up that trade and it will make an alert noise for you so you can keep an eye on the trades that each of these people are doing. Next, if you want to actually copy trade them, go up to this top right section again and click on this copy trade button right here. Now, this is a in-depth look at what the copy trading function looks like on GMGN, and we'll get into this in a little, but they have this natively on their platform, so you don't necessarily need to use other tools, but we will look into another tool later on. So how can we actually know who is a good wallet to copy trade, and we can actually have a good chance of having a profitable following experience and portfolio with this particular whale that we're copying? Well, we're going to want to look at certain metrics and filters of these top wallets. So I'm going to go back to our list of different wallets here and just go to all, and we're going to look at the different filters. The first one we're going to really want to hone in on is the win rate. In this section, this is the percentage of times that their trades win. And we're going to want to look at probably about 70% or higher. In general, copy trading guides say high win rates raise your odds of profit. And obviously that is, the case generally when it comes to the statistics of this. If you're winning more, then you're more likely to continue winning. And if you're winning less, that means that you're having a few really profitable trades and lots of not so profitable trades. And you probably want to be really consistent with, the profit of of your account. So I would go for someone with very high win rate. And to do this, if we're just in the all section, I would go to our 7-day win rate and click this filter button. And then you can do greater than 30, 50, or 80, or you can type in your own. Let's do 70% to 100% and click apply. Now our filter, if we go the other direction from bottom to top, is going to have only wallets that are 70% or higher win rate. The next thing we want to look at is trade count. Wallets with 300 or more trades show that they have repeated skill, while tiny trade counts show that they could just be lucky. So if we want to take a look at that, we would go into our 7-day TXS, which is 7-day transactions, click the filter, and then we want to do our own. You can do 200, 500, or 1,000, but let's set it at 300 or more. And right there, that filters us down quite a bit. There's only 6 wallets that fit within this particular range that we're looking for. Now, third, we're going to want to open each of these wallets and compare their realized versus unrealized P&L or profit. Now, when we're comparing this, realized profit is money that they've already locked in. It's basically positions that they have bought and then sold and realized their gain back into Solana. Unrealized gains are on paper, meaning that they're still holding the position. So if they bought and then it went up 1,000%, but they're still holding it, that gain is unrealized. So that gain could be wiped away entirely if they hold it for too long. And that's obviously a real factor that could happen. So you want to favor wallets where realized gains keep climbing and there is kind of a steady pace of gains that they're actually taking in. The fourth thing that we want to look at is wallet age. Addresses that have been active for 3 months or more have a larger chance of surviving bumps that, wipe out newcomers typically. If someone just immediately makes a wallet, they make a few trades, they do really good, we don't know if they're going to continue performing well. So the way we look at this is, as we're on this wallet page, not looking at all of the list of all of them, this specific wallet, you can look at a specific timeline. You can look at the last 1 day of activity, 7 days, 30 days, or all activity. And when you're seeing all of this activity, you can see, if you go to the activity section, you can see all of the transactions that they have done, and you can scroll back as far as you can. It will take a while. The thing I like to just quickly look at is this section right here in the realized P&L. And as you can see that there's been trading activity from June 4th to June 11th. So only about, 6-7 days of trading activity. So this is a fairly new wallet. All of these days are empty, so there were no transactions going on. This is not a wallet that you would want to trade with based on that 3-month timeline. Now, the fifth thing that you want to look at is token distribution and pool depth. Now, this essentially means that you want to find out what percentage of this person's portfolio is what percentage of tokens. So if one token is 90% of this person's holdings, or the liquidity pool of a certain token is $25,000 and, basically really small, a single sell on these tokens that they're holding could crush their price. So you want to skip that particular wallet. Now, for extra safety, you can turn on GMGN's smart money and security checks, which is a filter for wallets that pass certain audits like burned liquidity or renounced mint keys and flag insider wallets that often rug pull people, basically bad wallets to follow. And so when we're going back to the copy trade, that would be this smart money tab right here. And you can filter within that particular page as well. And so our filter on the win rate and the transactions only leads to one wallet left. And if we're going to double check on the length that they've been around, we'll look at all of the time that they have been in the market. And we've got at least back to May 2nd on this section right here. So it's only about a month that it shows on this little section. You could scroll through all these transactions. I would dare to guess that it would be older than 3 months based on their profit, but you can also open their longer transaction page. If you go up here to their wallet address, click on this Solana icon. This is their soul scan, basically a list of all of their transactions, and you can scroll through that here. I would make 40 transactions per page, go down, and then keep going next on this little bar here to find out when their first transaction was. They may have a lot of transactions to go through, and you can try to, work this page and filter through it, but generally this is at least what I would check, and make sure that they have at least a month of transaction volume. If you really want to dive into it, I would recommend checking their transactions for at least 3 months. All right, so our filters are saved. Let's crack into this particular wallet that we have here and make sure we're not following a one-hit wonder. So as you know, you click on the wallet right here to open up that particular wallet report card. You could do this on the entire list of wallet addresses one by one without filtering, and look at different filters and attributes within each wallet to see what fits your particular use case best. But let's run through the filters that we kind of looked at and the attributes that we really want. So the first one is win rate. Obviously, as you can could see right here, this win rate is at 87.5%, which is very, very good. You could go down to 60% if you really needed to, depending on the number of wallets. Obviously, only having one here is not very good. You want to see lots of wallets having that percentage, and you want to have these people going for months, not just for the last few days. So the next thing we're going to look at is the 7-day and the 30-day realized profit and loss. And as I mentioned, realized mean they locked in their profit already by selling their positions. So as you can see right here, we're on the 7-day profit and loss right now. Their total P&L is $281,000, which is only a 5% return. Their unrealized profits are 0. So that's pretty good. They have realized all of this profit. And with that, we like a wallet that has more realized profit than unrealized profit, because they're entering and exiting trades and not leaving you in the midst to potentially encounter a rug pull. The next one is trade distribution. Even spacing around trades shows regular entries instead of random bets. So our trade distribution here would be in the last 7 days, we've had about 1,000 trades. 976 of them are in the green and 153 are in the red. That's just their total number of transactions, but the distribution is over here. This is the percentage of their trades that end up in a certain ranking of how much they're actually gaining. So if their trade lost over 50%, they would be in this section. They only have one trade that lost over 50%. If they lost between 0% and 50%, then their trade is in this section, which is 18 of their total trades. And you can click on them to see. And if their trade was between 0 and 200% gain, then it's in this section. So they had 111 trades, which is 85.38% of their trades that were in the green between 0 and 200. Another good thing, as I mentioned, spread out over a longer timeline. Let's go to the 30-day here. Look at all these green days in the last 30 days. There were a few reds in the last couple days, and it spreads out their distribution even further. So they had more trades that were over 50% loss. As you can see, going back to 7 days, they only had 1, and in the last 30 days, they had 12. But now they have some trades that went over 200%, between 200% to 500%. Their entire spread is very heavily weighted in the green, which is positive. And you can see that as a bar right here. Their bar is heavily in the green. Most of it is in the 0% to 200% gain range, which is still good, obviously, but at least they have some in the extra high range. So one thing to note, when you found a wallet, let's say we pick this one that you want to copy trade with, each fast trade costs about 0.006 Solana. So a lot of activity can eat into your gains when you're doing lots and lots of trades. So you got to make sure that your transaction size is big enough to cover these fees, and basically that your gains are enough to cover these fees, so that you then have lots extra to actually play with and keep winning. Now, another thing to consider when you are copy trading is you don't want to use wallets or copy wallets that are chasing every single new meme coin. Lots of people on Reddit have said that these are basically bots that dump before you can react, or even if you are using a bot to copy trade, before your bot can react. And so you'll end up losing out, because these bots that you're copying are going to be much quicker, and they're going to use higher fees to be in front of you and get things done, and that will change the price very fast. With this in mind, it's kind of hard to tell usually, who's chasing what coins, if people are, being like that, or if they're a bot. But GMGN's smart money badge is a real shortcut for this. But make sure to always confirm these with deeper stats, or looking at the actual transactions, seeing what kind of coins that they're trading. In order to do that, you can look at their recent P&L, basically the coins that they have won and lost on. Take a look and see what kind of coins they're trading. You can look at their specific activity to see all of their trades, or you can look at their holdings to see what assets they have at the moment. But at the moment, this person doesn't have any particular holdings. Another quick thing to consider is if they have deployed any tokens, like let's say they've deployed a ton of meme coins, well, that might be a red flag as well, because, okay, what's the reasoning? Why are they deploying all these coins? Are they just running pump and dump scams? That wouldn't be a good thing to follow either. So let's talk about copy trading and actually putting all of this effort into motion. So I'm following this Mr. Frog guy, Road to Redemption arc. We're going to click copy trade up here and actually look at these settings. A great place to start is starting small. So GMGN's guide on their website suggests a fixed buy, something like 1 Solana, or 5% of your bag for each mirror trade that you're going to do, is kind of what they call it, to keep risks in check. Honestly, for me, 1 Solana is about, let's say, 150, $200 at the moment. That's pretty high to start with if you're going to be doing multiple trades. Let's say this guy does, he has 1,000 trades in the last week. Okay, maybe that's more than 100 entries per day. Do you have 100 SOL per day to be buying? Or if you divide it in half, do you have 50 SOL per day to be buying? Probably not. So we want to set a limit here. I would probably start start with maybe like 0.2 Sol. That's going to keep your risk really, really small. And you can just kind of gauge what these trades are doing. Now, keep in mind, as I mentioned before, fees are going to be coming into play. So you got to be able to cover those, but just play around with it and see how it works at first. See if this wallet is actually going to be profitable. And then you can know whether you can increase your entries. To start copy trading, you're going to need to put Solana into your account. You have a wallet within your copy trading program on GMGN. So I'm going to exit out of this, click on wallet manager, and I'm going to copy this wallet address. And then I'm going to send Solana to this wallet address to basically trade with. Okay, now I've got the Solana into my copy trading wallet so I can actually trade with it. Here's my balance right here, and I'm going to put 0.1 as my maximum. Now you're going to also want to make sure copy sells is included because you're going to want to exit your trades at the same time your copy wallet is also selling. You're going to want to lock in your gains that way. So you could stop right here before getting into the kind of bottom section here that we'll talk about in a second. But I would want to probably open these advanced settings depending on the wallet that you're copy trading. This particular wallet looks pretty strong. I would probably just copy trade it for a while. But let's say there's a wallet that you're not sure about and you want to protect yourself in extra ways. What you would do is to block coins that are with certain attributes that you don't want to trade, basically high risk coins. In order to do that, when you open this advanced settings, you can put a minimum market cap, which means it needs to have a certain value. I would probably put something like a $50,000 market cap. This is on K, so you just put 50. Liquidity pool, you're definitely going to, if you're considering this at least, you're going to want to have at least a $25,000 liquidity pool. You could raise that and you can have even more safe bets in this very gambling style trading strategy. These just in general are going to help protect you from very, very risky coins. You can put age as well if you don't want to be sniping brand new coins, and you can increase the minimum copying amount that you're going to use from their wallet. So basically they need to buy a certain amount in order for you to copy it. Because let's say this guy has $281,000 and he buys one Solana worth of a coin, but then he makes you buy the same amount that you normally buy. Sounds like he's not very confident in that particular coin. So you're going to want to not buy as much of it. So I would probably say if this particular guy in his activity, he buys $15 worth of the coin each time. Okay, that's pretty low. And then, oh, there you go. Oftentimes he's buying at least $100 worth of a coin. So you'd probably set a minimum to about $100. He didn't seem super confident about this one, so maybe you wouldn't want to buy that one. If I open up this copy trade and open up the advanced settings, $100 would be, let's say, 0.65 Sol. Make sure he at least buys that much so that you're confident your trades are going to be better. Now let's close this and go on to the last section here. In this section, you're going to set your slippage. This is the max price jump that you'll accept while the swap happens. Basically, you're going to be swapping Solana for any other coin. If you want to set this on your own, you can put your maximum slippage of, let's say, 10%. They recommend greater than 30% to avoid failure. So there you go. That's probably what you should do. On regular exchanges where you're just trading to hold long term, you're probably fine with 5 to 10%. 30% sounds good. Remember, Solana fees are far less than a penny, so quick retries probably aren't going to break the bank. The thing that matters more is timing. Whales often fire several buys in seconds. So let's look back at this copy trader. It looks like he specifically hones in on one coin at a time. And if you can see inflation, he has all of his buys and then his sell. Bag, he has his buys and then his sell. Aura, buys and sell. The only one that's a little bit off is this AUWA. When there is a section of buys, sells, buys again, that often signals that the whale or person that you're copying is chasing a pump at potentially worse prices. So you got to take a look at those particular trades to see what the difference is. What's the price of that token at the time? Right here we got 0.17760 and before it was 0.54977. So basically they bought, sold, and then it went down. So in this case, they were buying it at a better price, thinking that it was going to go up again. Maybe it didn't, maybe it did, but that's something to keep an eye out for. Now, finally, you're going to want to pause your copying during token launches where slippage spikes over 50%. Even bots cannot outrun that chaos. So basically when there is high slippage or low liquidity that causes high slippage because of high demand and lots of transactions, then you're probably not going to want to be trading because your trades are going to fail and bad things are going to happen and you're probably going to lose some money there. So even with these smart settings, a bot isn't a golden ticket to win. So let's flag some moments where you should hit pause on your copy trading. If you look at the GMGN tutorial, their documents warn copy orders fail if slippage or priority fees are too low, as we discussed before. This will leave you stuck potentially in a trade when whales are moving on and taking their profits. And it could rubber band the other way and you could lose out. Or you could just miss a trade going in and, not as bad, but it's worse when you're in a trade and then you can't sell out. So it's good to keep an eye on that. Different people across social media and platforms like Reddit, they've reported about a 35% failed trades rate until they raise their fees and their slippage. Now this eats into your gains a little bit, but that's also kind of a trade-off there that you need to consider. The other platform we're going to look at is Trojan, and they have a tutorial that notes very high volatility token launches can outrun any bot. So manual clicks at that point are safer on these really new coins. So sniping new meme coins, probably not your best bet. If you find a trader who's sniping meme coins, it's probably not where you want to place your bot because of those, high volatility, making your bot much slower and probably not getting the gains you actually want. Now, if the liquidity pool is under $20,000, one buyer can swing the price double digits. So definitely skip your auto copies here. And that's the thing we talked about in the settings where you can limit your copies to particular coins that are above specific pool liquidity levels or market cap levels. And speaking of market cap, GMGN lets you set a market cap floor. $50,000 is probably pretty good to block the illiquid coins that could just tank very, very fast. Now, as I mentioned at the bot, we're going to talk about in a second, Trojan, they have a guide that suggests daily loss caps and trade limits as well. So set these before going live, basically a maximum amount of loss that you could take in a day so that it will cut off trades for that day and then it'll restart the next day. And then you can also do trade limits, meaning the number of trades that it allows per day. Another thing to consider is trailing stops. So if you are copying a wallet and there's a particular trade that's losing a bunch of money and they're still in it and they're down 50, 80%, you could have had a stop loss at 30%, or you could have one at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and it sells more and more and more of your position as it goes down so that you don't just encounter an entire loss. That's something you can consider unless you trust this particular wallet and they know that it's going to go back up. You don't know that they know that, but it's something to definitely keep in mind so that you can prevent yourself from losing more than you really want to. So I talked about the Trojan bot. Let's take a look at how that works. It's very similar to GMGN. You can take all of your information about the wallet that you picked from GMGN, but then put it onto a Trojan bot so that you can have it right on your phone anytime you want. So I'll leave a link down below to the Trojan bot. You can look it up online. Just type in Trojan copy trade bot into Google, but the link will be in the description as well. Once you open up the Trojan bot in Telegram, you're going to click trade on Solana with Trojan, which is start, and it'll prompt you to create a wallet, make sure to save your keys, all that good stuff, and then you'll put your Solana into that particular wallet by copying the address and sending it over. Once you have that all set up, let's take a look at this page right here that says copy trade, and you're going to click on that. Now, I've set up a few different copy trade wallets that I've been looking at in the past, but if you wanted to create a new one, like let's say we were going to use Mr. Frog here, we're going to copy that wallet address, and luckily it's easy to copy and paste things over iPhone, but you would click new here and click on target wallet. And at that point, it'll say enter target wallet address to copy. You'll click paste and put that forward. And then there you go. That's going to be the wallet that you have available to copy. We're going to tag this and put the name Mr. Frog. Now we've named our wallet, and these are the settings that are the same on GMGN that you would want to look into here and make sure are set up pretty well. So your buy percentage is the first thing that you're going to want to look at. This is set up to be a percentage of your entire wallet value that it will enter into your trade with. But instead, what I would like to do is set a specific amount. So once I click on that, instead of putting a percent, you could put 50% if you'd like, but I'm going to put 0.1 SOL, and then that's going to limit my buys to 0.1 SOL. You're going to want to leave copy sells on because obviously you're going to want to exit the trade the same time the wallet you're copying does. And then I'm going to move down here to buy gas and sell gas. Those are pretty much fine in my opinion. I would just leave those there. The only thing that I would change on this screen is slippage. So I'm going to click on slippage, and as GMGN recommended 30%, I'm going to put that up to 30% and just enter that, and we're set. Now, if you want to set up your trailing stops, what you would do is click on auto sell. And I put an auto sell profile in here already, but if you wanted to create a new one, you would have to go back to your original settings. So we'll go back from here, back again, and then we'll go to settings, and then we'll click on auto sell. And then here's your profile. You can click a new profile and set your auto sell orders. So you would add an order, and this is the T/P is the price change. So if they go down 10%, that would be your first sell. And then the amount you want to sell, you would trigger the percentage of your current position. So I would just say, let's, for example, put 50%. So now you can do another trailing stop at 20%, 30%, but this is going to sell 50% of your portfolio once it hits a loss of 10%. And this is going to protect protect you in case you want to limit your particular losses. Now let's go back to the main menu and look at copy trade. And I think we're limited to 3, but we'll go on main copy here. And once you see the screen, this is all you had to set up. You are good to go. It's active. Anytime that the wallet you are copying makes a trade, this will make a trade for you. The button right here on the bottom left that says active, you can click that. Now it's paused. Click it again. Now it's active. That's going to make sure that your bot is going. And if you feel like you want to stop for a bit and assess this wallet, okay, you click that active and it's paused. And you can change the wallet address if you like by going up here and clicking target wallet. And then you will just type in a new wallet, whichever one you want to do. It's fairly simple. So now you're all set up. You could use GMGN. You could use the Trojan wallet. You're going to start off by assessing on GMGN which wallets are good with their win rates being over 70% or maybe over 60% if you're feeling a little risky. Having at least, I would say, 300 trades in the last 7 days to make sure that they're doing enough volume to really be predictable when it comes to be profiting. Make sure that your priority fees are high enough so that your transactions go through, as well as your slippage percentage, so that just in case the price changes enough that you're actually going to get that transaction. Keep in mind there are fees when it comes to these platforms, so you're going to want to use enough Solana that's going to cover those fees, cover the priority fee, cover the transaction fee, and actually hopefully give you a little bit of gain on top of that. But don't start off too big. Start off with something pretty small. Maybe even start off with 1 Solana and then limit your number of entries during the day to 1 or 2. Keeping these small to start is going to give you a little bit of a tester so you can see, how it actually works, which wallets are actually going to be performing well for you. There have been plenty of case studies where people can compound their winnings from 1 Solana to $50,000 in a month, but you just really got to find the right wallets. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to take all of this in when prepping to copy trade. At this point, you should be well ahead of most traders. If you're ready to get into crypto to start copy trading on this big journey of yours, I put links in the description for Coinbase and crypto.com where you'll get $50 in crypto just for signing up with those links. And since you're probably interested in meme coins, I left a link to MoonShot where you can claim some free meme coins just for signing up with that. If you learned something new or just enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and hit subscribe if you want to stay tuned for all things crypto. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.